So here we are, another video. I'm not going to do a funny intro today for a couple of reasons, primarily because of what it is that I'm going to be discussing. Secondly, because this is a bit of a spontaneous video, this one. I only realised earlier on this morning that today marks 3 years exactly that I stopped drinking alcohol. There's no real dark tale to tell, but it is something worth exploring though anyway. So why did I quit alcohol? I didn't get arrested, I didn't get in fights, I didn't fuck around, I didn't miss work because of it. I didn't have fun anymore. I did repeat the same pattern of living. I did allow my health, both physical and mental, to deteriorate. I did allow negative thought patterns and a lack of vision stop me from achieving anything in life. And that's why I stopped. I had visions of me becoming the old guy, sat in a pub, the same pub, every night with the same people having the same discussion, generally about how shit life is and how everyone else has it easier, and at the same time doing nothing about my own life. When you live in Englandhamshire, the national pastime is drinking. Everything centres around it. Celebrations, holidays, birthdays, any excuse we get fucked up. And there was definitely a period of time where I couldn't stop as well. I was trying my best to. I'm sure all of you have had that experience as well. You wake up in the morning with a raging hangover and you say, that's it, never again, never doing it again. Fast forward to the next morning and you're having the exact same conversation with yourself. That's it, never again, last time. Then it gets to the next morning, same again. So, on January the 3rd, 2015, was it? I woke up yet again with a raging hangover. I must have been on a good 10-day celebration. I'm someone who goes through depression anyway, and I find that by overstressing your immune system, trying to flush out all those toxins all the time from the alcohol and waking up feeling hungover and dehydrated, everything just started taking its toll on me, and I just felt really depressed and really angry and really pissed off with life and absolutely fed up of everything. Now I think it's important to point out that I didn't actually intend to give up totally. As a lot of people tend to do in January, I decided to knock it on the head for a month. Just get myself together. All of us are stressed for cash in January anyway. So I decided to take that off. And I kind of liked the way I felt. And when I gave up, I was so damn sick of it anyway, that it really wasn't a hassle for me to do it. So I got to the end of January and I figured, sod it, I'm going to try February as well. I had actually previously given up for about 6 months, many years before. And during that time I lost a lot of weight, got myself in shape, and then of course started drinking again and went back to old habits. So there was a part of me that thought, okay, well maybe I'll do the 6 months again. Then before you know it, I was at 7 months. And I figured I'm going to do a year. And without knowing it, I found that I'd actually done a really good thing in giving up on the 3rd of January. Because that then meant, to complete a full year, I had to go through the Christmas period with no alcohol whatsoever. And by this point everybody kind of knew that I wasn't drinking as well, because that can be a very difficult thing as well. It's all very well you not wanting to drink. Other people don't necessarily like that, whether it's because you're trying to improve yourself or because they've just frankly lost their drinking buddy. It can be quite a difficult thing for the other people to deal with. So I got 1 year under my belt, and this was the good thing, because now it was January again and I'd gone through that celebration time, and this was a time again now where everybody else was sort of laying off the sauce. So I kind of gone through the period where you were supposed to drink, and I was now 1 year sober. Next thing I knew, it's 2 years. Now I'm doing this video today and it's 3 years. It's worth mentioning that 1 year to the day after I gave up alcohol, I got offered a job, which I still do to this day. I don't want to say what it is just for now, but it's a job I'd been after for a long time, and I always took that as a cosmic sign. You're on the right path. Literally a year to the day of me quitting alcohol, I got offered the job I wanted. Now over the course of that year, I started building more and more confidence in myself, which is something I've always been sorely lacking. In fact, there was a period of time where I completely shut myself off from everybody. Went through some extreme social anxiety, and it took me quite a few years to build things up, to get things back to what most people would deem to be normal. And as many of you will probably know, towards the tail end of 2017, I started doing my YouTube channel, and that's when things really started looking up for me. There's no money in it, by the way, for people who are wondering, but it is a hell of a lot of work and it's very worthwhile doing. But I truly believe I wouldn't have done that unless I'd have quit alcohol. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I can now trust myself. I'm sure any of you who have gone through long periods of binge drinking, you can quite often make plans and end up breaking them. You may wholeheartedly intend to be somewhere when you make plans. Then you start drinking or whatever in the meantime, and you wake up with a raging hangover, and before you know it, you're cancelling things, pretending you're sick, all the rest of it, all the lies that we've all told. So one thing that I got back was a trust in myself. I now knew that if I said I was going to do something, I was going to do it. I could rely on myself more. I've scarcely got ill in the time that I've not been drinking alcohol as well. I don't know if that's just more a reflection of the positive frame of mind I've got that kind of combats that thing. I don't know, but it's true. In the past 3 years, I've maybe got 2 colds, and they've been pretty minor colds as well. Certainly nothing that's held me back from doing anything, because I've now also been able to rely on myself more and feel better health-wise, although there is still a lot of room for improvement. Sugar's a bitch. I've been able to concentrate on doing these channels as well as work. I mean, I work 45 to 50 hours a week, and then I put a good 30 hours a week, probably, maybe not quite that much, into my own YouTube channels as well. So I've been able to get dedicated. I've been able to have a vision and see it through. And I'm nowhere near there yet. I have big plans for what I want to do with both YouTube channels, and I believe that quitting alcohol was a major turning point for me. Now, as I said earlier, I wasn't like a bad drunk. I was a little louder, like most people, but I didn't have a lot of fun towards the end of it. And worst of all, I wasn't doing anything about my life. I mentioned earlier about being in the pub and complaining about the same things over and over, and I did. And that's a big part of what this channel is about. It's about taking account of oneself, self-accountability, looking at your role in things in life and what you're doing wrong. It's very easy to look at other people and say, well, it's all right for you, you've got this, you've got that. What about me? No one's going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself, and you stand a lot better chance of doing that if you can rely on yourself and count on yourself more. I still get depression and anxiety, but much less since I quit alcohol. There are a couple of things I've noticed since I've quit alcohol as well. If you're the sober person in the room full of drunk people as well, it doesn't seem as funny. Those jokes that were hilarious when you were drinking suddenly seem a bit more like, really? It's kind of strange as well that now, as a sober guy, by a lot of people, I am deemed the weirdo. The guy who's looking for self-improvement, trying to better himself, is looked at as the odd one. But that's the path I'm taking. Fuck it. What's that saying? Better to be at the bottom of a ladder you want to be on than halfway up one you don't. I also find every now and then I do have to check myself before I wreck myself. It wasn't so long ago that a friend of mine was telling me how he went out and he drank about 6 pints of lager, and came into work the next day. There was a couple of guys in the office who couldn't believe it. 6 pints! And I knew exactly what my friend was thinking. Fucking pussies. 6 pints in my drinking days would have been a quiet night. That would have just been that would have been one of those nights not worth talking about. I still had that thought, fucking pussies, even though I'm not drinking anymore. So I do kind of keep an eye on things every now and then. I do have that sort of part of me that's, I can quite easily not get drunk. It doesn't bother me. I enjoy being sober. I enjoy my mind. That's the thing I've learned. I actually enjoy my head. I don't need to get out of it. I enjoy being in it. I definitely have to remind myself from time to time that I am definitely one of those people who, when I drink, I get drunk. I don't have a glass of wine with dinner and call it quits. Fuck that. If I want to drink, I'll have water. If I'm drinking alcohol, I'm getting fucking drunk. I always remember hearing Einstein's definition of insanity: to do the same thing day in, day out and expect a different result. That really screwed with my head for years, because that's what I was doing when I was drinking. It was just the same thing day in, day out. I was wondering why my life wasn't changing. That really stuck with me, that one. I think one of the main things that I've truly benefited from as well, I've managed to turn my thinking from short term to long term. And what I mean by that is it's not all about immediate gratification, which is quite often the way with alcohol or anything else, whether it be drugs, food, whatever, sex. We always think of those ways of making things better now. I need to feel better now. It might take the edge off at the time, but you wake up in the morning and everything's still there, plus a hangover, plus more anxiety, plus more depression. So I've managed to go from short-term to long-term thinking. All my goals now are down the road. Everything I do now is for the benefit of later on, and hopefully for the benefit of others. Smug twat. I don't know if I've said everything I wanted to say. There's certainly a lot more on this topic I do want to talk about at some stage. Maybe I'll tell you some of the darker points I'm sure some of you would be able to relate to. But like I said, this was one of those things I didn't plan on doing. I just kind of literally realised it this morning, and kind of felt as I'm doing this video that it's a important one to do. I just kind of figured to myself, well, as I'm now doing this channel, it would be an important one to share with you guys. Maybe none of you have issues with this sort of thing, but I did, and it negatively affected my life in terms of stopping me doing what I actually wanted to do, which is communicate with people, open up a dialogue, and I wasn't doing that. But yes, there is room for improvement always, and there's going to be improvement. I think that's more than enough for today. I'm interested to see how this video turns out, because I didn't plan any of this. I'm hoping that I got something decent out of this. I hope that this made sense. I hope that it means something to someone out there. Hopefully it'll help somebody as well. And I definitely will be continuing on this subject at some other point as well. I'll be interested to see what other people have to say on this one. So leave your comments down below. Always check in with the comments as well. On previous videos from time to time, see what other people are saying, see if anything anyone else is saying relates to you. Maybe you can start chatting to them, and you know, there's been a lot of people commenting on the video so far, and a lot of people seem to be engaging with it and wanting some positive change in their life, so I think that's absolutely awesome. And I'm going to continue doing these videos, and I'm hoping you guys are going to continue watching them and participating in them in your own way. So on that dithering on bullshit, I think I will call it a day, and I'll see you guys some other time.